Imagine this. A race is about to begin. Hundreds of runners stand on the track, all wearing the most expensive shoes, shiny brands, brand new uniforms, bottles in their hands, confidence on their faces. The stands are full. The crowd is roaring, and there among them stands a young man, barefoot. His name is Mateo. People laugh out loud. You? Are you going to run? With bare feet? Is this a joke? But what happens next will change everyone's mind. Mateo grew up in a small village surrounded by poverty. The roof of their house leaked when it rained, and dinner was often nothing more than bread and beans. But in his heart there was a dream. One day he would become a professional runner. When the villagers heard this dream, they laughed. "Mateo, you, a champion? You don't even have shoes. You barely have food. You have no money." But inside, Mateo heard another voice. "Run." Every morning before sunrise, he woke up. The air was cold, the roads full of stones and thorns, his bare feet pressed into dirt, rocks, and mud. They bled, they hurt, but he did not stop, because he had learned something. Running is not done with legs, but with heart. The first days were hard. His feet blistered, then healed, then broke open again. Sometimes he limped home, and his mother looked at him with worry. "Mateo, please, stop hurting yourself." But he only smiled. "One day, Mama, this pain will mean something." And every day he ran faster. Every day he grew stronger. The village children pointed and laughed. "Look! Barefoot Mateo is running again." But Mateo didn't hear their laughter, because inside his chest a stronger voice whispered, "Keep going." Months later, news reached the village. A big race would be held in the city. Runners from everywhere would come. The winner would receive a medal, some money, and respect. Mateo's heart burned. This was his chance, not for the prize, but to prove that he belonged. When he signed up, the whole village burst into laughter. "Mateo is joining the race, the barefoot hero." But he didn't care, because sometimes the only way to silence the world is to keep running. In the weeks before the race, Mateo trained harder than ever. He woke up earlier, ran longer distances, climbed hills, and sprinted through fields. At night, he studied the race path on a borrowed map. He didn't have energy drinks or protein bars. He drank water from a well and ate whatever food was left on the table. His muscles ached, but his spirit grew stronger. One evening, sitting outside under the stars, he whispered to himself, "They all have shoes. I have something better, fire in my chest." It was a sunny morning. The stands were packed. The announcer's voice echoed, "Today, the fastest young runners in the country will compete." The runners lined up, shiny shoes, brand new uniforms, and in the middle of them, Mateo, with a simple shirt, worn-out shorts, and his bare feet. The crowd laughed again. "Is this kid serious?" Mateo lifted his head. He looked at the stands. Then he closed his eyes and took a deep breath. Inside, only one voice remained. "Run!" The whistle blew. In the first 100 meters, Mateo hit a sharp rock. His foot split open. He fell hard, his face hitting the dirt. The crowd burst into laughter, but Mateo did not stay down. He stood up, pressed his bleeding foot into the ground, and started running again. Every step was pain. With every step, blood fell onto the dirt. But every step was also a victory. His opponents were far ahead, but Mateo didn't care. For him, it wasn't about being first. It was about not quitting. And then something changed. The laughter in the stands faded. Whispers began. Then silence. Then applause, because everyone saw the truth. A barefoot boy was attempting the impossible. Mateo didn't win the race. He wasn't first, but he crossed the finish line. His foot torn, his breath gone, but his eyes were shining. And that shine told everyone, I didn't give up. That day, Mateo learned something. It's not the advantage you have at the start, but the determination to reach the end that makes you special. When he returned to his village, no one mocked him anymore. People looked at him with respect and said, Look, that's the boy who ran barefoot but never gave up. The medal went to someone else, but the story belonged to Mateo. A journalist who saw him wrote about the barefoot runner. Soon, people outside the village knew his name. Letters came, offering him shoes, training, even a scholarship. Mateo realized something bigger than victory. When you refuse to quit, the world eventually notices. Maybe right now you're trying to learn English, but you don't have the books. Maybe you don't have the money for courses. Maybe the people around you don't believe in you. Maybe, just like Mateo, you are barefoot. But remember this, being barefoot does not stop you. Quitting does. Mateo ran without shoes, but he never stopped. You too may speak with mistakes, mispronounce words, or even face people laughing. It doesn't matter. Keep going, because in the end, no one will look at your shoes. They will look at your run. You don't need perfect conditions to start. You don't need expensive shoes to start. The only thing you need is a decision. Mateo decided to run, and that decision changed his life. Now, it's your turn. Stand up. Take the first step, even with mistakes, even with fear, even with doubt. Because if you don't give up, one day they will cheer for your name too. If this story inspired you, don't forget to like the video and subscribe to Storelish, because here we don't just learn English, we learn life.